Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. So I just have this in the background because, well, there's a lot of light coming through the windows right now and I don't think you wanted that glare on the camera. Plus, maybe it's a bit nicer to see something other than me. I don't know. Depends how you feel, I guess. But this is some spell preparation that I'm doing and it is mostly just folding up and cutting paper. I know it's not very exciting, but I do a couple of other things too. But why do I call myself a witch? Well, pretty much because it is the word in English that best describes me. However, there are other terms that people may wish to use for me, like shaman, seeress, medicine woman, medium, etc., etc., etc. There's so many individual different terms, but witch pretty much encapsulates everything. Now, the dictionary doesn't get the full definition correct. It does usually say that a witch is someone who uses magic and spells, but they say it's usually for malevolent reasonings. So that word, for those who maybe aren't familiar with English as their native language, it implies that you do nasty things, evil things, which is not what witches typically do. Now, it is a spectrum, so of course, everyone's different. Everyone does different things. But for the most part, in my over 15 years of experience, the vast majority of us don't seek to go out of our way to hurt anyone. Now, about the good and the bad in the witchcraft community, I can talk about that at some other point on my channel if I feel that I want to. But I guess the title is a little misleading because this video isn't just why do I call myself a witch, but touches on what kind of a witch I am. Or else the video would be like 30 seconds long. I call myself this because it is the word that best describes me. The end, bye, thanks. But witch means wise one, pretty much. And it's also stems from the word Wicca. I am sorry if I pronounced that wrong. It's on the screen for you. And yeah, I'm just showing you what's inside of this pineapple little case because some of you might be wondering. It's just my loose change that I have. Now, this usually is in my bag, so not every coin from in there will be used in this spell. But wise one, a user of magic. Magic is energies, both internal and external. So I utilize the energies of my own spirit and the energies of the world around me to benefit me in various ways, usually protection, health, prosperity, healing, stuff like that. But I am also a medium, a channeler, you may also say. I work with spirits and other entities, and it is an ability that I've been able to do since pretty much I was born. I was born with the gifts of healing and mediumship. And I know some of you might be thinking, oh, cool, that's so lucky. Not really. It is more of a curse than a blessing at times. And it almost drove me to madness as a child because there were spirits that, once spirits know that you can communicate with them, they will try and communicate with you because they want something. So pretty much it's just, I want to talk to you and they want to talk to you and we're all talking over each other. And if it wasn't for some external force getting involved and telling me how to shield myself, I might have gotten lost as a child. Well, that's story time for another time. But I call myself a witch because, as I've said several times, it is the word that best describes me. The dictionary only gets half the meaning right. It also, some dictionaries online, they do say that a witch is also a practitioner of Wicca or neo-pagan beliefs. Well, witchcraft is not a religion. It is something that you can add to any religion or no religion, depending on your own personal beliefs. But yeah, witches do typically fall into the pagan category, and I know a lot of Wiccans, or at least some of the more popular authors, they do say Wicca is witchcraft, and they're only half right. Wicca is a religion that utilizes witchcraft, but it is not witchcraft itself. Witchcraft's not a religion. It is a system of magic. You can be a Christian witch, you can be a Jewish witch, you can be a Muslim witch, or a pagan witch, or a Hindu witch, or whatever you want to be. Because it is a spectrum as well within, well, magic itself is an extremely complicated tree with many, many, many branches on it. Witchcraft is one of those limbs with many branches of its own. There's a huge spectrum. Some people only utilize white magic, meaning that they will only use magic to help people or at least not harm them. Others use black magic, which is the stuff that people typically associate with witches. The more darker stuff, sometimes the more evil stuff, depending on how you want to define that. But really, when it comes to magic, white and black are only used for categories only. There is no good or evil magic. There is only magic and what you choose to use it for. And in my 15 years of experience, I have changed what I do as a witch, but my core has remained largely the same, with a focus on green witchery, which is a form of witchcraft that focuses on the use of herbs and plants and nature, and also a huge focus on hearth and kitchen, which means the home and especially the kitchen are places that matter a lot to me. I do a lot of ancestor veneration, I work a lot with the gods, I do a lot of spirit work. It makes sense. I was born a medium, I utilize that. I'm a diviner. I use the Thuthok rune system, especially the Elder Thuthok rune. And I think this is cute, by the way, that this leaf has naturally got a little love heart in it. Isn't that cute how it broke like that? Definitely going to use that in this spell. But yeah, I use the Thuthok rune systems as well as I use a lot of cartomancy. I love tarot cards. They were my first system of divination I used when I was 13 years old, and I still love to use them. I have a tarot channel here on YouTube. If you're interested in that, it is just, well, it's on the screen, and also it is in my description on the channel if you want to go and check it out. And I think YouTube puts it underneath the videos too, so if you want to check it out, you can. No pressure. But I've been calling myself a witch since I was about 13 years old. I discovered witchcraft when I was 12 and a half. I fell down a rabbit hole. My school introduced me to Hinduism, and I was studying Hinduism on Wikipedia when I fell down a rabbit hole. I clicked on different stuff because I was very interested in that. And of course, I found spirituality from that because it is a spiritual practice. But somehow, and I 100% believe it is an external force that guided me there. You could say it was divine intervention, because I somehow ended up on the page for Wicca. Now, there's no reason why I would be clicking around Hinduism and finding my way to Wicca from that. But finding Wicca, that taught me that witchcraft was real, and it wasn't just the stuff that you read about in books and see on TV. And it's not their mean, evil, big bad guy stuff that a lot of media likes to paint it out to be. And that's never sat well with me that people say that anyway. So I've been calling myself this since I was 13. I'm 28 now. So, I've been here for a long time. And I take my practice seriously. I mean, I could be casual, laid back, depending on the situation at hand, but I like ceremonial magic. I like prayer. I meditate as well. I'm deeply, deeply spiritual, as well as being involved in the craft. Magic is very important to me. And even before I called myself a witch, I knew it was something that was in me. I didn't know it was called magic, and I didn't know I was called a psychic. I didn't know, about the terms, but I knew what the abilities were. I just didn't know what it was called. And I've always been interested in, the so-called mythological beings like dragons and mermaids and fairies and elves and all of that, pretty much since I was a kid. One of my favorite books was a series of books about fairies. If I remember what it is, I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, I've always been interested in more than the mundane world. And when I was 13, discovering that I was a witch, that was absolutely life altering for me in the best way. Now, I couldn't utilize a lot of what I wanted to do and really expand my mind and really lean into that wise aspect of the craft when I was a teenager, because I was raised in a very bad household by Christians, and I've never got along with Christianity. I've given it a try, but I don't get along with it at all. So, not me. But that's story time for another time. I have a habit of saying, oh, I'll talk about that in another video because, well, I just don't want my videos to get on for too long. And also, well, let's be honest, it's more content. Because if I could put it in different videos, then I'm bulking out my content. People can go, oh, I can see you've uploaded quite a few videos. And plus, maybe you're not interested in one specific thing. You can just skip that video and pay attention to what you do like. And I apologize, I bumped into the tripod here. That's what happens when you're pulling a big container from the top of the shelf. You sometimes bump into things. And yeah, you can see over there I've got a fluorite snake and some obsidian, and you can see a little bit of my spell jar. And yes, that is hair in there. That's my hair. That is my promise jar, I guess you could say. I made it a few years ago. It's tag locked to me. It's my promise to always remain a witch, and that's a deeply, deeply personal spell that I don't want to talk about, at least not right now. But I am very interested in a lot of different fields of witchcraft. I don't feel the need to use their subtitles that a lot of modern witches use, like, oh, I'm a green witch, I'm a earth witch, I'm a celestial witch. I don't feel the need to box myself in. So, but if I'm talking about specific fields of the craft, then I will, of course, mention that this is green witchcraft, this is kitchen witchcraft, this is celestial witchcraft, or astrology, divination, etc., etc. But kitchen witchcraft is something I have a very, very deep interest in. I love cooking, so I'm definitely going to be sharing that knowledge in videos on this channel when I share recipes. I'm vegetarian, so it'll be vegetarian recipes with a kitchen witchcraft focus. So quite a niche here on YouTube, because some people will be like, oh, I'm coming for the kitchen witchcraft, which is fantastic, and I'm happy to have you here for that. And others will be like, oh, I'm coming for the recipe. Oh no, witchcraft. Me do a big skit now. I don't know why I worded it like that, but you know what some people can be like. And when the dictionary says, ooh, malevolent magic, malevolent spells, it can scare people. And when movies and books often paint witches as the bad guy, yeah, it can scare people. But it's really not scary. You can blame the church for their whole witches bad thing, because, well, strong and independent people who lean on themselves instead of Jesus, yeah, the church doesn't like that, especially the European church. I believe it was primarily the Roman and German churches, especially the German church, that were causing problems when it came to that. But witchcraft is very, very important to me. It's liberating. It's a reminder that strength and power come from you. I don't lean on an external force. Of course, my gods are there for me, and I know that, and I can reach out to the gods and entities and spirits that I work with, my ancestors, etc., whenever I need them, and they are there for me. But being that the witch's power comes from themselves, I am in this position where I learn to rely on myself. I learn that I am strength, I am power, and the divine feminine is very real, and she exists within me. Now, we're all masculine and feminine when it comes to energies. Masculine energies and feminine energies, they exist within all of us. But a lot of people don't focus on the divine feminine because there is a prominence of God as this male figure rather than focusing on goddesses at all. And, our ancestors, they believed in goddesses, but a lot of the modern people, I know a lot of people do, especially, Hindus and all of that. They believe in goddesses, and I love that. Pagans believe in goddesses, and I love that. But it's not a household thing to say goddess these days, I've noticed, at least here in the Western sphere of the world. Thanks to the prevalence of the Abrahamic, meaning Christians, Jews, and Muslims. But yeah, I'm very comfortable with the word witch. It's not an insult. It's not evil. It's extremely misunderstood. And it has left me be an outcast in my life because I've never felt the need to hide this term. Of course, I know not to say it in specific areas, but I've never been afraid of it because, well, I was an outcast anyway. I was very bullied in school, even though I didn't really do anything that would justify, you can't really justify bullying anyway, but it wouldn't justify any name calling, even in my younger years. So I thought, well, if you don't like me anyway, well, I'm going to be honest because, well, you already don't like me. So, it's left me outcast saying witch because even though people do know what it is, it's typically pagan, but as I said, it could be any religion. There's a system of magic, and as I've gotten older, I have realized just how important this magic is for me. I've always known it's important, but since leaving that broken home, I've developed an extremely deep relationship with magic. And the craft, honestly, has saved my life over and over again. But honestly, the people who have saved my life the most are my gods. But I could talk about that at some other time. Witch is not an evil word. Witchcraft is not an evil thing. And you'd think in 2026 people would understand that. But apparently people don't want to learn the truth. They would rather stay in their ignorance. And even before the term witch was used to describe people like me, we've always existed. And a lot of us have always been on the fringe because the unknown scares people. And it's okay to be a bit weary of the unknown, especially when magic is so vague to define, right? It's a huge spectrum. I get it. You might be like, well, I'm not quite sure what kind of person you are, but that does not justify calling us evil and saying that we kill children or saying that we sacrifice animals when that's definitely not true. Very, very, very few people actually do that. But yeah, this came out a bit more rambly than I intended to, but I think it's okay to be casual when it comes to this. And honestly, it can't be my entire practice cannot be defined in a simple video. Best way to understand it is to just stick around with my channel if you want to. I'm not forcing you to stay. But if you do, thank you for joining me. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for sticking around. And I do hope you enjoy the content that I bring to this channel. It's spiritual, witchcraft, sometimes art focused, and also day-to-day life. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and stay safe. Many blessings to you and yours. And I hope to see you in another video. I have quite a few videos that I plan to make, and I look forward to sharing recipes and other things.